On the night of July 2nd, 1994, a man was shot 6 times in a parking lot in Medellín, Colombia. With every bullet, the gunman shouted one word: goal. This is the story of Andrés Escobar, a man who gave everything to football and paid for it with his life. Andrés Escobar was not supposed to be a tragic story. Born in 1967 in Medellín, his father was a banker. He went to Catholic school, every morning mass with his mother, but after school, only football. By 1985, he was signed by Atlético Nacional, Medellín's biggest club, fast, calm, elegant. His teammates called him El Caballero del Fútbol, the gentleman of football. In a country where football was increasingly brutal, that nickname meant everything. But here's what the highlight reels never show you. While Andrés was becoming a star, another man with the same last name was reshaping Colombia from the shadows: Pablo Escobar. No relation, but connected in ways that would eventually destroy them both. Pablo was the most powerful drug lord on earth, and he loved football. He didn't just watch it, he funded it. He bankrolled Atlético Nacional, the same club Andrés played for. This wasn't a secret. Everyone knew. No one said anything. Because in Colombia at that time, you didn't say anything. Drug money flooded the entire sport. At least 6 clubs had direct ties to cartels. With that money, Colombian football became a powerhouse overnight. In 1989, Atlético Nacional won the Copa Libertadores, the first Colombian team ever to do it. Andrés was part of that squad. He was on top of the world, but the world he was standing on was built on cocaine. By 1994, Colombia wasn't just a good team, they were the team. 27 games unbeaten. They had just destroyed Argentina 5-0 in Buenos Aires. Pelé predicted Colombia would win the World Cup, but even before the tournament started, a Colombian player's son was kidnapped. Death threats arrived at the team hotel. Betting syndicates with cartel money had millions riding on the outcome. The players weren't just representing their country, they were playing for their lives. June 22nd, 1994. Pasadena, California. Colombia versus the United States. A must-win game. 34th minute. A cross comes in from the right. Andrés Escobar stretches out his leg to clear it and sends it into his own net. The Colombian commentator screamed "Goal!" 6 times. Not in celebration, in disbelief. Andrés lay on the grass for a moment. Then he stood up and kept playing, because what else do you do? Colombia lost 2-1, eliminated. The greatest generation of Colombian football gone, just like that. Back in Colombia, television smashed, windows broken, riots in the streets. His family begged him not to come home. He refused. He said, "I must show my face to my people." He wrote a public letter. He apologized, and he ended it with these words: "See you soon." 10 days after the own goal, Andrés went out with friends in Medellín, a nightclub called El Indio. At 3 in the morning, he walked to the parking lot. 2 brothers were waiting, Pedro David and Juan Santiago Gayon, known drug traffickers. They confronted him, insulted him, mocked him. Andrés demanded respect. One of the brothers said, "You don't know who you're messing with." Their driver stepped forward and shot Andrés Escobar 6 times. With every shot, he shouted "goal." Andrés died 45 minutes later. He was 27 years old. The man who pulled the trigger served 11 years of a 43-year sentence, released for good behavior. The brothers who gave the order, a few months each, for covering up the murder, a few months for the gentleman of football. There's a theory, quietly spoken in Colombia, that if Pablo Escobar had still been alive, Andrés would never have been killed. That Pablo kept a kind of order: you don't touch footballers. But Pablo had died 7 months before the World Cup, and without him, there were no rules left. Andrés once wrote, "Life doesn't end here." For him, it did, but his story never will.